China's first emperor died some 2,300 years ago. Most people know him as a tyrant and also as a guy obsessed with living forever. But something less well known is that the location of the Qin Emperor's tomb has been known for centuries. It lies underneath a big mound of earth in Xi'an of the Shaanxi province. It has not been opened for centuries, millennia. This news might be a bit surprising to you. After all, didn't the tomb robbers clean out all the Egyptian tombs except for King Tut? How can the most famous emperor of all China keep his unopened? But so it is. In this video, we talk about what we know about the emperor's tomb.
The Emperor of Qin, do not confuse him for Qing, unified what we call China for the first time. He started off merely as a king of the state of Qin. At the time, the Qin state was just one of many various feudal lords in the Warring States period. He then raised a sophisticated army that defeated his peers and added their kingdoms to his holdings. Upon completion at the age of 38, he elevated himself to be Emperor of all China, creating for himself a brand new position. The Qin Emperor centralized the government and standardized writing, language, currency, and trade. He built a network of roads that connected the provinces, and he began what would eventually be known as the Great Wall of China. He is also known for his obsession with not dying. He never stopped looking for immortality. The emperor would visit Zhifu Island 3 times to try to live forever. He drank concoctions of jade and mercury, and he even climbed mystical mountains to try to find some secret knowledge. Many alchemists and magicians stepped forward to scam him with elixirs. He executed a lot of them, though. His thinking was that if their elixirs worked, then they would actually come back to life, right? The Qin Emperor actually, in the end, lived longer than the average person of his age, but he died nevertheless. Tradition held that he died from elixir poisoning at the age of 49, too many mercury pills. Imagine if someone were to tell him that he needed to exercise, eat more veggies, and maybe do some yoga. Might have helped. The Qin Emperor began building his tomb the second he took the regional kingship throne in 221 BC. When he became emperor, though, those efforts blew up in scope and ambition. Building it would take some 38 years. The tomb mound is the most prominent feature of the massive 21 square kilometer complex. Records state that it used to be over 116 meters high, but over the years has eroded to its present size of 50 meters. Today it sits over the emperor's grave. The mound has been explored using modern technology for decades. However, he has yet to be opened for fear of its contents decaying, so we can only remotely probe what's inside using technology. Radio sensing studies revealed that this simple earthen mound was actually a complicated construction project. Different types of earth, fine-grained and large-grained, were forcefully rammed together. The fine-grained earth actually forms a 9-stepped terrace wall some 30 meters high. That itself is a complicated structure. Once this earthen wall was completed, the large grain earth was placed around it to bury it. Then grass and trees were planted on top of the whole final thing. This might sound a bit weird. Why build a terrace structure only to bury it once more under more earth? But the emperor's tomb combines many of the burial practices from the kingdoms it conquered. Namely, it combined the idea of shrine tombs, where the tomb goes on top of a mound, and tumulus tombs, where the tomb goes under a mountain or a mound. The emperor's tomb merges both styles here. It makes intuitive sense. The emperor is supposed to be the ruler of everything, thus his tomb should have the aspects of all the kingdoms. So what's underneath the tomb? What's in the tomb? The grand historian records give us the only reputable account of what might be inside the emperor's tomb. All the country's rivers, the Yellow and Yangtze rivers, were reproduced with mercury and made to flow into a mini ocean using mechanics. The heavenly constellations were shown above and the regions of the earth below. The grave chamber itself, like I said, has not been excavated, but preliminary scanning results seem to imply that the room remains intact. And this is despite thousands of years and being under tons and tons of earth. It is likely to be full of gems, valuables, and a miniature replica of the Qin Emperor's empire. The coffin chamber likely sits on a floor of bronze and is protected by ancient traps of mechanized crossbows and arrows. It also is lit by candles made of oil from dugongs, which is supposed to last extremely long. Apparently, the Qin Emperor wanted to take his empire with him once he died, so the tomb builders tried to replicate the human world within the emperor's grave chamber. This would mean artificial substitutes like the famous terracotta army. Each warrior's clothing was carefully replicated and painted to look how it was in real life, and the army includes stables, stable boys, and even horses. They were even given actual weapons. The army was located in 4 main pits with various satellite pits. The largest pit had some 6,000 warriors and appeared to represent the main attacking army. The second largest had 1,000 and were the cavalry. The third pit were the general's headquarters and had 68 warriors and just 1 horse. There is, of course, no evidence that the entire army was sacrificed by the way in the funeral. Human sacrifice as a practice had been on decline even before the Qin dynasty's rise. The first emperor of China lived his life desiring to be the ruler of the entire world under heaven. And when he managed to succeed and become the first emperor, his tomb needed to be worthy of the name. Since the emperor is supposed to be the ruler of everything, his tomb should have the aspects of all the kingdoms that it conquered. What results is a tomb designed unlike any Chinese king known before it. And amazingly enough, it has survived for 2,000 years, largely intact. It has not been raided even during the toughest times of Chinese history, and it stays closed for the generations to come. All right, everyone, just wanted to have something light and cute. I guess a tomb is not that cute, but thought it'd be really fun and interesting to write about this. Got some interesting stuff coming up. All right, everyone, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.